Welcome, everyone. This is Well-Being to Supernatural, where we assist you on your healing and development process and getting through the things that hold you down from understanding your best, most godliest, and supernatural self. Today, I have a special guest, and this is someone very powerful and very special to my life that I saw since a child with massive leadership abilities. Someone that can stay grounded amongst so many egos. Somebody that I saw be a man of many skills, of many trades, behind the scenes, getting things moving. Where there was somebody phenomenal, he was somebody behind the scenes making that phenomenal look phenomenal. He went from being a phenomenal videographer, a graphic design, promoting clubs, to enlisting in the army, being somebody you can trust your life with, to being injured, and it didn't stop him. He traveled the world and said, I'm going to help other people travel the world. This man is dedicated to helping creators be more creative and show their best. I have met phenomenal people that have changed my life through this person. They are dedicated to having a global brand of individuals and of agents that help other people travel, enjoy their life, extend their life longevity by doing so. Let's give it up for my friend, travel agent, and business management specialist, Jamarro.
Man, thank you. Round of applause. That was beautiful. That was probably that was by far the best intro I've ever gotten anywhere. So thank you. I
Seriously?
appreciate the edification and just to throw it back to you. I definitely appreciate just being connected to you all these years. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we won't talk, but every time we come together, it's always love. It's always something of productivity, and you one of those people that I want to put my battery behind because you doing so much great stuff in the world as well. So thank you for having me, and yeah, let's get to it.
And you guys, that means a lot to me. It means a lot because when I go into the community, right? It doesn't matter if I'm somewhere and it's hip hop. It doesn't matter if it's a business show or entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter if it's the extension of consciousness. I can see this man there behind the scenes. So his growth, his level of consciousness, his love is so massive. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, thank
You
you.
know, I really do. So, in our conversations, I'm just gonna drive right in, you
Let's
guys.
get into it. Let's get into it. I know you got something good for me.
So, we've had some recent conversations, and you talked about the importance of men's mental health.
Right.
So, before we dive into the importance of that, I want to ask you this. Was there ever a dark space in your life, a phase in your life, where you had to climb out the mud within yourself to where you personally know the inspiration and need for mental health, men's mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, believe it or not, this is like all the time. Like I got friends that I talk to and we just, they might go through a moment and they'll be venting and tell me and I'll be like, "You know what, bro? I go through the same thing. Like you might not see it, but everything that you're talking about, I've been through it before." Like I have a friend of mine by the name of Jadon and he's younger than me. I think he's like 25, 26, but I feel like he's literally living my life at 25 and I'm 38. So he'll be telling me something about something that he's frustrated about or a dark space that he's in. And I'll be like, believe it or not, bro, I go through the same thing. So to answer your question, yes, all the time. Like it's sometimes I'm in a dark space for the whole week, but you would never know it. I'm in a consistent fight out of the darkness all the time. And I think anybody that's looking to do anything in this world is gonna be in the darkness a lot because we always fighting for greatness. So if you fighting for greatness, you literally are digging your way out of a hole every day because you always got to take the higher road. You always got to do more. You always got to sacrifice. You always got to turn the other cheek. And sometimes you just be like, can I cuss?
Go ahead.
Sometimes you just be like, fuck everything.
I
You
want to
know what I'm
whoop some
saying?
ass.
Yeah.
I want to get the fuck out of here. I want to stop dealing with everything because I don't feel
Mhm.
appreciated. All of those things. I love that you said that
Yeah.
because when you are somebody that has a big vision and you're trying to do something great and you're trying to do something great that involves other people's benefit,
Mhm.
you have to go into dark spaces because that's how growing happens.
Right.
The seed has to be planted. And the bigger the tree, the deeper the roots.
Facts.
And sometimes we have to have those moments where we dig deeper.
Mhm.
And that shows a strong person. So I'm happy you were able to admit that
Yeah.
because we live in a world of fake is the new real.
Mhm.
And people want to seem perfect. Like everything is just so bright and so great. I can tell you right now, this man is a manifester. Now, I'm not saying about human design, but I mean, he knows how to utilize his energy and his superpowers to manifest his reality. And people act like stuff has to be so fluffy all the time to stay within a box of spiritual advancement.
Mhm.
And that's not true.
It's not real.
It's not real. The true people who are really doing things are people not afraid to go inside.
Mhm.
Find those dark spaces, find those shadows, those things that make them question themselves, those things that people can poke and it hurt a little bit. They actually mend it. So I applaud you
Yeah.
on that.
Look, the darkness is really where the light is created. This is a perspective that I don't really talk about too much because
Mhm,
when you talk about darkness, people automatically think evil.
mhm.
But half of it, for me, this is my perspective. Half of enlightenment is made in the darkness. So if you just believing in just the light version of the world, that's cool. It's like high vibrational. It's happy. It's the good times. It's all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, the darkness exists as well. And if you're afraid to go into the dark, you're not going to get the lessons that's learned in the dark. So you really kind of going through the world like in a naive space. But when you go through the darkness and understand the darkness, not the evil per se, just the opposite of light, just the things that might not be bubblegums and lollipops, all that exists in this world as well. We're very balanced in this earth.
Right.
So if you're afraid to go to the darkness or just don't go to the darkness or go get lost in the source in the darkness, you
Mhm.
don't truly have true awareness until you go to that place and you conquer it. And then you consciously go back.
Build and destroy.
So, you got to play around in the dark a little bit if you want to, get true enlightenment or true advancement. That's from my experience.
That's the truth. Just like what you just said, you have to conquer some things, and it made me think of supreme mathematics. When you get to the eight, which is also the infinite
Hmm.
cycles, you have to build. In order to build, there's things that need to be destroyed,
Hmm.
and that's the dark aspect. When you actually go into that, what everybody can't see, and you decide to do that, the next is the nine, which is birth. You cannot have a birth without the destruction. And I talk about this part in my book when I talk about the lotus. The lotus is glorified through many religions and cultures because it comes out in the sun and
Hmm.
over the mud. It blossoms on top of muddy waters as if it wasn't even touched by it.
Mm.
But when the sun goes down, it closes up and goes underwater.
Okay.
That's what we do when we grow. That's what we do when we develop.
Right.
It's natural to close up and go inside. God made it that way. We go to sleep at night.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? We go to sleep at night. And what happens when we go to sleep at night? The body heals itself. You produce hormones that allow the body to heal itself. It's natural. And I like that you took accountability on being honest with the person you're talking to, you know? Because a lot of people, when they get past a point of growth, now they are holier than thou. And they won't be honest about what they've been through.
If I can chime in on that, the crazy part about that is every cycle of going through the darkness, getting your enlightenment and advancing,
Mm-hmm.
ego could set into play because you'd be like, all right, I figured it out. But
Mm-hmm.
then you'll hit your head again and gotta go through the cycle all over
Oh,
again. And
yes.
after so many times going through that cycle, you end up realizing like this never stops. Imma have to keep hitting my head and learning and getting enlightenment over and over again. So I definitely was at that point where I was like, "Oh, I figured this life thing out. I got this." And boy, did I get humbled. You know what I'm saying?
It will humble you every
Yeah.
time.
So
And
now at this point, I kinda expect it, you know? And also any if I'm growing forever, then Imma continue to go through this cycle because it's just like your muscles, like muscle atrophy and getting sore. Like, as much as an athlete I am, I'm still gonna get sore. I'm still gonna break down those muscles. So as long as I'm still trying to get better, I'm still gonna hit my head on things and have to go through the darkness, go through the light, go through the cycle, be hurt, be happy, and that's just a cycle of life. So, I'm glad I graduated from the, I done figured it out because I for sure was at that point and I got smacked hard, when I got to that point, felt like I made it. And I was like
mhm.
26, 27, felt like I made it. And even thinking now, back then, it's just like, boy, you didn't know nothing.
Yeah, and make it like, especially when we how do I say this? First off, let me piggyback on what you just said. You will get smacked hard
Hmm.
when you think that you made it somewhere.
Right.
Because all that says is you at a new edge. So now you are either pouring if your cup is full, you are either pouring into other cups or you're gonna get tipped over. It's the whole cup is gonna tip over.
Hmm.
Because now the universe has to say, like, okay, so you want to just keep this cup right here? You think this is it? This is not it. Either you pouring over to make something else happen into somewhere else and allowing that to teach you something new,
Hmm.
or the whole cup gonna tip over and say, let's start from the jump and bring it all the way up.
Even if I could add on to that bar, if you was
Mhm.
really pouring into other people when you do tip over, them other cups that you poured in is what's gonna be your support.
Mm. They're gonna pour right back into your
There,
cup.
there you go.
And that makes me think of something we talked about earlier. The the reciprocity, the balance, and the harmony in life that comes with the give and take. That comes with the hard decisions in life. That come with your growth.
Hmm.
Because you get to a point when you are a giver, when you are a light, when you are a person that understands continuous growth, then you look to nurture that in the lives of others. And there comes a point where all of you will experience this in your growing process where you have to make decisions on what gets your time and energy. And I like how you were describing it. So talk to us about that, about how you choose what gets your energy so you can keep being the light that you want to be in life.
Well, as far as like people go, I let everybody come with a clean slate. So
Mhm.
if I maybe heard something about you, or maybe I felt something about you previously, if it comes to business and time or whatever, you get a clean slate. Everybody starts, and this is something that I'm kind of navigating and working with. But basically,
Which is
everybody's
good.
everybody's
Very
good with
mature.
me off top,
Hmm.
and I give people the opportunity to hang themselves. I give them the
Hmm.
opportunity to either show out or get kicked out.
Hmm.
So and it's just easier for me because I don't want to think about the bad things about a person or what could go wrong. So
Hmm.
when it comes to my time, it's hey, what's up? Let's make something happen. I keep the doors open. Now in reality, most people fuck up. I'm gonna say 90% of people fuck
And
up
it's a
when you open up
fact.
those doors. And then that's when I gotta start stepping back. So what I do is if I'm corresponding with you, I'm either taking a small step forward or a small step back. And after a while of taking so many small steps back, then I'm pretty much out the door.
Hmm.
Now, if somebody take 3 steps backwards and 2 forward, then we kinda like playing this little limbo. And now it's up to me to decide if I wanna invest my time in you because it could be like a 50-50. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But if we're moving, if the encounter moves us forward, I move forward. If the counter moves us back, I take a step back and I deal with you accordingly. So I got a calculator up here for every human that I've ever, existed with in these
With
spaces. And, the time depends on, if I was taking steps forward or taking steps backwards.
And I think with me, that helped me be more in my light and my sanity on a regular basis is I stopped rationalizing energy I just know, you know? Because even before actions match what you already feel. But like you said, you allow it to play out,
Hmm.
right? And then after it does, not rationalize. Because let me say it like this. Sometimes we want to nurture the light in people that they don't even want themselves.
Mm.
Like the person that we can see them be, that's not even the person they're trying to be. Like when they visualize themselves at their best, it's not that version. you know?
Yeah.
Like they want the destructive behaviors. They want the tough guy or the tough girl. They want the versions that don't fit, may not fit your life.
Right.
You know? And I had to make those type of decisions. I had to, as we talked about a little while ago, look for two things primarily when people come into my life or I'm dealing with them on a regular basis. Is it a taker, capitalized type energy? Like you just looking at what you can get from me
Right.
and you're going to keep going until it's nothing left and then tell me, there's nothing left.
Right.
Start complaining. Or I feel competitive energy. When I feel like somebody that I'm taking on to be on my team competing with me, we're not on the same team.
Right.
So I look for those two energies because what I don't want to do is be just sucked dry, and I don't want to be watching my shoulder with my own team.
Yeah, that's crazy because that exists. Is a lot. It exists more than people think.
Right. Like I don't want to be if I have to wonder if I should tell you my next move, we're not on the same team.
Right.
We should be strategizing together.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be thinking, I feel the energy like, oh, that's what she's gonna do next. So I better go do this. I better do it before her. And da-da-da-da-da. It's like if you were jogging together, you start feeling this. And you look over and they like, what are you
It's
doing?
supposed to be us against the world, not us against each
Yeah.
other. The
Yeah.
competition is valuable, but just don't compete with me.
Right. Competitive energy is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we supposed to be looking that way, not like this.
Right.
So it's those energies, and that comes with another what we were talking about earlier, mental health. It's so many layers when it comes to mental health.
Right.
Me going into classes for um to help with as a mental health aide, I learned a lot about the severity of mental health challenges we're dealing with right now. Um, how many emergency situations I've already been in and didn't know it to and now have more compassion of the challenges and how I handle it while even dealing with my own,
Right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. And when it comes to ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, sometimes when people didn't experience severe trauma, like maybe child abuse or divorce or poverty or just different things that people talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I shouldn't say more severe, but popular, common. It doesn't mean that it wasn't something experienced that may have affected you as an adult. And it's those things that we've experienced as children that help in our development that affect not only our mental but our physical health. Most people that have experienced things as a child, studies show they're more likely to go through physical, um, what's the term that I would like to use? Basically, just illnesses,
Okay.
to experience illnesses, to experience difficulties in life.
Because they bottling up all of those energies, and it's
Right.
starting to create dis-ease, in the body.
Creating dis-ease in the body. And I want you to know this is not just about childhood experiences as well. As adults, we experience different forms of trauma, and trauma can be as simple as losing a job and not knowing what to do after. It can be a breakup that you've been in for 10 years. It can be someone passing away. It can be many, many things. It can be being shamed in front of public. It could be many, many things that put you in a space of holding negative energy that causes your nervous system to react in different ways. Maybe you get shaky, maybe you get anxiety, maybe you get depressed, maybe you don't want to be around certain people that look a certain way or certain height or smells that remind you of certain things. It's a lot that comes with traumatic effects that um, play a part in how people handle their friendships and relationships in general. We talked about takers.
Mhm.
Someone that's a taker was someone that wasn't um, taught love, that wasn't taught the giving and receiving, the back and forth. You know, somebody that has to survive.
That's definitely the scarcity spirit, the spirit of scarcity. That's
Yes,
where that
the
comes
lack.
from. Yeah.
Somewhere in their life, they felt lack. So they maneuver in a way better you than me mindset. And I want to tell people watching, and then I have some questions for you. The universe is abundant. And when it comes to your well being, the supernatural state and journey, the first thing to understand is when you get those feelings of helplessness, those feelings of, I gotta just take, or I gotta just pour, because you feel like you're losing, you feel like you're falling, you feel like the world is against you. Breathe, breathe. Go inside, take a second, and love yourself. Because what heals that feeling of lack is internal love and the stopping of you comparing yourself to others. And what the world says you can be, should be, and what you should have. When you start with the being and healing the insides and love, abundance is your only truth until the outside starts to look like the inside.
True. Talk
So,
that talk.
so to you, give us some things that you have done throughout your journey that have helped you evolve as a person and break some barriers.
Oh man, where do we begin? Just practicing peace of mind in general. Like I'm a cool guy, so like I said, you might have never seen me upset, but that doesn't mean I don't get upset.
Those
But
the craziest ones, y'all, just because you didn't know.
but even when I get upset, like I have to evaluate after every time I'm upset. I have a self evaluation section because don't nobody want to be mad. Like me personally, I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be
Mhm.
in that frequency. Some people are in that frequency and they're just so used to being in the frequency that that's their norm.
Mhm.
Happiness is my norm. So anytime I go out of my normal frequency, I have to reevaluate and be like, all right, what am I doing here? You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So basically every night before I go to sleep, I have an evaluation of my day. I just kind of like sit there and just think about how I was feeling throughout the day or how I conquered the day. And I really get to think about the things that made me happy, sad, mad, whatever, and just really evaluate and figure out what's what so I can make the adjustments. So that's one thing. Picking up different healthy practices, like I don't know, I'm pretty sure you see it on my Instagram, but like grounding. That's like
Mhm.
it's not a new thing, but it's something that I did years ago every blue moon because I was told that I need to do it. But now I've already gotten the benefits and the place that I'm in and the space that I'm in, and also my understanding of grounding as far as like just us being electric beings and
Mhm.
really like how the ions like connect from the ground to our bodies and the energy flow. It's like been a learning journey and an experience doing it, and now I know the value in it. And even if let's just say this is all just hocus pocus, let's just say all this spiritual stuff don't make no sense. When I go out there and put my feet to the ground, I feel good, and can't nobody tell me otherwise.
Mm.
So if my vibration is up, then everything is up. You know what I mean?
All the way up.
All the way up. What else? Just the people that I'm around. I definitely try to be around high vibrational, high frequency people, and I know what high vibrational looks like because I'm high vibrational.
Mhm.
So if you're doing the same things I'm doing, feeling the same ways I'm feeling, helping the same people or the same type of helping in the same ways I help, when you go around and the frequency just goes up, I want to be around those people.
Yeah.
You are one of those people. Andre Spicer is one of those people, and since we both know him, we could talk
Shout out
about
to
him.
Andre.
When Andre
Yes.
walks in the room, everything just gets better. That's a high frequency person. If he was really out here doing dirt and really out here getting over on
We
people,
would know.
you would feel it because everybody would have to be like, "Oh, Andre here." You know what I'm saying? No, that don't exist. When Andre walk in the room, it's a light,
It is.
and surrounding yourself around those lights is
He's
the
very
most powerful
grounded.
things that you can do.
Mhm.
What else? Paying attention to my diet, just like everybody else in the world. I like bad food.
Mhm.
I like sugar. I like fatty stuff. I want to go get me all of the delicious food y'all see on Instagram. I want to eat it all too. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I also have to have my time where I fast. I also have to have the time where I have to be more disciplined. So I have all the same temptations as every other human in this world, but I consciously decide to sacrifice because I know sacrificing is how I move forward. And that's the dark side of the world. It's like, why do everybody else get to eat chili cheese nachos and I
Mhm.
can't? I don't even like chili cheese nachos, by the way,
Well,
but I'm just
example.
talking about just
Right.
something that, that people like to eat, or all these great food restaurants, on the internet, and you see all these good fatty food and be like, well, why I can't eat it? Because I decided to that I learned that it's value in the sacrifice of abstinence from that thing.
Mm.
So all of these just little things that I do and little things that I learn to continue to grow, and I know I always get the result every single time.
I wanted to piggyback on that because I have a story and I like something that you told me too. Because you were talking about one day you were telling me one of your habits and how you go put your feet to the ground before you look at your phone.
Hmm.
And that you think that that is a part of why things are coming toward you and magnetically attracting into your life at a higher rate.
Right.
Is that true? You still think that?
Absolutely. The phone. So this is for the world. The phone is so valuable as far as information, connecting, and all of that good stuff, entertainment, knowledge. But the frequency of the phone is not good for us. It is not our natural frequency. It's our not. It's not nothing that's bringing us to a higher vibration. From the mechanics of it, having in our phone, to the things that we watch, to the light, and all of that stuff. So we can definitely get hooked from our phone because it's so entertaining, and like some of us make money from our phone and all that is cool, but I know for sure the frequency of nature is where I need to be at,
Mhm.
or that's the vibration I need to be at. So it's definitely a fight to not be on the phone, but I consciously, like, before I touch my phone, and don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Definitely some mornings I get on and check my emails and do everything I need to do, but I know the days where for sure I went and put my feet in the grass or go ate some fruit or worked out before I touched my phone. Number one, it helps for my discipline. So I already won for the day. The
Mhm.
challenge was when I woke up in the morning, I chose light instead of dark. The phone's the dark side. Not gonna go down that dark rabbit hole right now. If I go do some push-ups or go run or go put my feet in the ground, I started my day off with a win. I already won. I'm 1-0.
Mhm.
Versus I get on my phone and yeah, I might be, closing some deals or following up on something or getting some work done, but I'm behind off top. So it's made a significant difference in my day because we got our whole day to be on our phone. And I'm a challenge y'all. Find your screen time on your phone and
Mm.
look at them hours. And you're gonna be like, wait, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours on my phone?
Wow.
Look at your screen time and see how you feel about being on your phone after looking at that screen time. Because I looked at my screen time the other day and I'm like, still 8, 9 hours? And I'm like, wait, I know I'm an entrepreneur and I know I'm working and I know I'm being productive, but this is too much time on my phone. So,
Because you have to think about how much time we get during a day, period.
right.
They say 24 hours in a day, but that's not all day hours. So that's 7 hours of the daytime.
Crazy.
And that's part of the reason because a lot of African American people or African people, period, it's said that when we go to the doctor, a lot of high numbers are low in vitamin D
Mhm.
when we literally absorb the sun.
Right.
Like our melanin can absorb the sun and give us vitamin D.
Mhm.
It's because we're not in the light.
Right.
We're not touching the sun. We're in cubicles or in cars or looking at the screens. And we're literally we have an ingrained cheat code that we're not using. And another thing that you were saying, and I know people are saying like, oh, if somebody's listening to this, like they talking about that woo stuff. Yeah, go touch the grass. Okay. Look, I'm gonna give you some science to that and make it common sense for you. When it comes to your body, you have an energy system just along with all the other systems in your body. You have meridians, channels, centers in your hands and in your feet that connect with organs in your body. If you don't believe me, go ahead and go look it up in Chinese medicine, go look at Japanese medicine, go look at all of these ancient practices that are known for helping people heal. Reflexology. And it's in our feet and it's in our hands. So when you have radiation in your hand all day, that's direct to these points in your body. So when you put your feet to the earth that cannot be moved, it don't matter what you put on top of the earth is so massive, you cannot move its frequency for real. So it's grounded, it's in tune. It can help you get to a higher frequency and be more aligned in your daily life and your daily practice of well-being so we can get to the supernatural.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, everybody likes nature.
Mhm.
Like, nature is undeniable. And then if let's say you were afraid of animals and you don't wanna be in, like, deep nature, everybody likes the sound of rainfall. Everybody sleeps better when the rain is hitting your window,
Right.
when the birds is chirping. It's something about these frequencies. So even if you don't believe in the science of it, everybody knows that it's a frequency in nature that we are drawn to.
Mhm.
And on top of that, like, let's say you don't believe in the hocus pocus and of putting your feet in the ground. Try it for a week and just see how you feel. So even if you don't believe in the science, try it, see what happens, and see how
Right.
your body adjusts to it. And I guarantee you will get the
You
results.
will feel better. And what made me a believer, just to be honest, when I first started grounding, it happened because I had a hangover. I was I had a hangover
Mhm.
and I saw a park and I really couldn't drive anymore. I needed to get out the car. And something inside of me was just go lay in the grass. I laid in that grass. I laid there for I don't even know how long. It wasn't that long. Probably for like 40 minutes or something like that. I opened my eyes and I did not have a hangover anymore.
Mm.
Not only that, I looked to my right and it was like 6 people laying next to me.
Just out of nowhere, they
Yes.
just came for the vibe.
Yes. They must have been like, you know what? That look good.
Yeah, for
Like,
real.
she doing it and she don't look homeless. So let me see what I must. You know how energy attracts,
Right.
and you could feel when something feel good. I think they looked at me, probably walking by, and was like, "That look like that feel good." 'Cause I kid you not, I opened my eyes and it was a row, like I was teaching a class or something.
Okay.
And you cannot be afraid to be that first person. When it comes to your spiritual and your healing journey, you cannot be afraid to be the first person. You may be a person right now that's interested in the things we're talking about, and you go tell somebody else, and they don't want to hear that, Sharif. How come? You're trying to grow. You may need to be the first person laying in the grass looking crazy and not care and get up and feel better. I want to share a story. And then I want to talk to you about mushrooms.
Oh, I ain't ready for that conversation.
I want to talk to you about mushrooms because I think that's a very important part of a lot of people's journey to help them with their mental health, their spiritual development, their expansion of consciousness. But I want to tell a story that I haven't told yet about staying calm
Okay.
because it sparked when you said, I don't like to be angry. I don't like to be taken out of a certain space. but I do have a very strong warrior spirit. I just do. Um, and it takes a lot sometimes. I'm not even gonna say sometimes because I got a lot better with it.
Mhm.
With the Martin Luther King over the Malcolm X kind of way of handling things, the turn the other cheek
Mhm.
and realizing what's worth the energy or not. And I got tested twice last year. And nobody knows this.
Okay.
I got tested twice last year, and I want you guys to know it's a continuous journey. Nobody's perfect. The perfection comes with growing from each experience. Um, so I was on Absol's album,
Mhm.
right? So the day that it dropped, well, the
Teaser.
preview, the teaser
Mhm.
with my poem in the background, I cried that day.
It was super dope, by the way. It
Thank
was
you.
perfect.
Thank
I'm glad he
you.
picked you for that part. That was so perfect.
Thank you. I cried that day because that day I had to come from court and find out that something was thrown out because I was attacked by a man and was beat by a man trying to protect a child.
Mm.
And I had a black eye the day that dropped and I couldn't go live.
That's wild.
And I wanted to go live. The point I want to get to this is because I was tested in that situation. And even though my intent was not, I'm gonna let you say something too. My intent was good. My approach was not. The aggression in my approach to jump out there in front of somebody that's already experienced a mental health challenge.
Mhm.
And I had to go through a process of like, okay, how could I have done that different for a different outcome? Because here I am, it's time to celebrate this big moment. And I went through a confrontation that caused me to not be able to celebrate this in this way. And you want to say something. So say it, and then I'm gonna
Oh
tell
no,
you what
I'm
came
I'm
after
just
that.
I'm just processing.
Okay. I got tested again, right? Because it was two things that I told myself I needed to do better in that situation. Number one, I needed to not handle aggression with aggression off top. If I'm coming to be the peacemaker, then peace needs to be the first energy that touches the scene. Two, if I am going to have to hit somebody, I better not stop.
Mm.
Because the man got in my face, he shoved me, and my body reacted, and I hooked him,
Okay.
and he almost fell. And I was so surprised and stunned that I didn't keep going.
Pause.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he had a
paused.
chance to recalibrate on you.
He recalibrated, came back for me, But I got tested again. I experienced my first Karen last year.
First?
Yeah.
Took you a while.
Right? Right? I see it online all the time. But I experienced my first, I've had like little situations and stuff.
Mhm.
I've had people that got me fired from jobs, but not like this. I'm gonna try to make it as fast as possible because I want to make this about you and I have questions for you. Um, I experienced a Karen. My nephew ran out of our hotel room. We were in Burbank to visit my sister in the hospital. He ran out of the hotel room trying to run outside to follow my mom, right? Screaming, crying, because he wanted to go with her. I was bringing him back. This lady came out of the hotel room from like two doors down. She was like this rough looking, seasoned white lady that looked like, to me, she looked like she probably just got out of jail
Mm.
for some type of drug charge or something and was living at the hotel for a little bit.
Okay.
She came, got in my face, talking, basically accusing me that I'm trying to steal this child. Like, it's not my nephew and I don't know this child or he wouldn't be doing this.
That's random.
What? I'm like, I saw I knew later it was a test. It was like a universal test, of where I'm at from one situation to the next. And I kid you not, in the past, I probably would have snatched that lady up so fast.
Mhm.
But I was not mad. I didn't want the anger. I was not angry at first. Like, I ain't gonna say at first because the whole process, I wasn't angry. I told her the situation and what's going on with this 3-year-old child. And if you would like, cause she got in front of my door to my hotel room.
Mm.
And I said, so can you just step aside and
She
we're
was trying to
gonna go
block it?
outside? She was blocking it.
Oh, that's deep.
She was blocking it. And then I said, you need to step aside and we're gonna go inside. And then she said she was just going off. What kind of parent are you supposed to be? I don't think you're the parent of this child. I gotta say something. I said, lady, you're being aggressive and you need to walk away.
It was definitely a test.
Yes. I said, I'm going to reach for the doorknob and go inside this room and you need to just leave. And I went to reach for it. That lady smacked my hand and said, you don't know what aggression is.
Mm.
So I 3-pieced her and stumped her out.
Oh, I didn't know it was gonna go
But
there. I thought this was gonna be a peaceful situation.
It was peaceful. You know why? I never got angry.
Because you pieced her up. That's what.
I pieced her up
That's what
in
was peaceful.
peace. I pieced her up in peace. Not one time did I get angry. And we walked into that room, closed the door, and when the police came, I told my side of the story. She told hers. Her husband had to back me and apologize. It turns out that he was a police officer and she was a judge. I could have went to jail.
Mm.
But I knew that it was in my favor because of the intent and the energy I
'Cause you
operated
was
in.
moving in light,
I was
even though you gave her that work,
right.
it was that
It
light
was
work.
righteous.
Yeah.
That's the difference between just having a warrior spirit and being on bullshit,
Yeah.
being just with the shits. You know? Because if I had been arguing with that lady, if I had woo 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 and all of that kind of stuff, I was the only black person for miles. If any person in that building would have been able to say they heard my voice, I would have went to jail. But I moved in peace. And I felt good after. I felt good there's a whole process. And she had to sit there with that knot and think about what she
With
just
that knot.
did. No, I've been her.
I mean,
You know, cycles of life.
it's an interesting story because I definitely feel like after we conquer certain things, then we get tested. And I feel like that's God that said, cool, you passed this previous test or you passed the training. Now it's the test.
Mhm.
And how you move forward or backwards in this world or how you manifest the blessings or manifest the chaos is going to be decided on how you pass this test. And I think those tests are going to continue to come, you know what I mean,
It
over and
will.
over again. And you pass with flying colors. And whatever the blessing was, you got it. Or whatever you asked for, you got it.
It put me in my energy has gotten me in a lot of other different rooms. Not letting things get to me. And even now, you can always do better.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was happy that I was able to keep my peace in that situation, in the future, I would still go try to say, you stay right here, and I will go get somebody to remove her. And if she follows me down the hall, then you get a 3-piece.
Right.
You know, it's steps.
Yeah.
It's steps
even
in
you
doing better.
even you conquering what happened and still analyzing to get better, that's what people are not doing. That's the true growth. The true growth. Because you could have moved forward and be like, cool, I didn't go to jail. But you were actually rewinding and reprocessing. Like I said, when I go to bed at night, I evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
You just evaluated the situation and you're still trying to fix a situation that already went well.
Because the
That's
win
beautiful.
is for it to not be the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But sometimes chaos just want it with you. Opposites attract.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people always say, oh, you that happened because you attracted it. Opposites attract too.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lady that attacked something I said online recently. And I had to tell her, she was talking about, we was talking about relationships and stuff. And I had to tell her, bugs attract to light and vegetables just as much of a pile of shit. So we have to remember that in life. You know, is this an opposition or is this me, a reflection of me? And both are a reflection because it's good to see what your opposite is. You know, when chaos happens, are you the one causing it
Take a negative charge and a positive charge to create electricity.
Mm.
So it's always going to be here, and it's always going to be a balance. It's all about just
Mm.
how we navigate that, but it's necessary.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. Mushrooms.
Mushrooms. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. I think what do you think? I think that mushrooms should be a part of everybody's beginning journey of growth and mental health therapy. What do you think?
Even deeper than therapy, I think it should be a natural thing that we do to prevent therapy.
Right.
I think it's a I think I look at psilocybin as like vitamin A, B, C, D, E, zinc, magnesium, all that other stuff that we have to intake all the time. I feel like we should be intaking mushrooms at an early age, and it
Definitely.
depends on like, at the very least, just having the experience,
Mhm.
having a set experience, and be like, this is what it is, this is what you might experience at a low dose, just so you can feel that vibe and that energy and get a new awareness at a young age.
Mhm.
And then as you get older, like I'm 38, I feel like I should be microdosing maybe consistently once a week, just to kind of keep my awareness up
Yeah,
and keep my sensitivity up, and also just learn, because we learn through awareness. And I think that's
that's
what shrooms
true.
is. Shrooms kind of takes away certain walls,
Mhm.
and it allows us to feel everything. And with feeling everything, we get more awareness. And you can't lose with more awareness. This is how we navigate through the world.
Facts. Facts. And for people who are just have no clue what we're talking about, when it comes to mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms, first and foremost, what it does is connect parts of your brain that's not usually connected.
Hmm.
So those are the effects that you're receiving. And while doing that, also it can help create new pathways if you have certain damage and things like that going on with your brain. And when that happens, it can heighten your senses and give you experiences that, like he said, heighten your awareness. And the mushrooms, what a mushroom is it, as it you know it as a fungus, but as it blossoms and blooms, it takes from the rot of the land that it's from and then blossoms into that. And as we grow them in different parts of the world, starting from the spore, you're still getting that ancient knowledge and activation when you take these, which makes it a part of sacred medicine in many cultures since early times. What do you think about? Oh, before we get into that, I do also want to talk about because we said on a regular basis. I think what a lot of people fear is what's considered a bad trip.
Oh, yeah. Let's get into that.
Yeah. What have you observed? Because I know I observed a bad trip isn't a bad trip.
Hmm.
It's perspective. It usually, from what I've observed and from what I've taken in from many people, the pattern that I see is it usually only happens when somebody's by themselves. I have my theory of understanding, but I want to hear yours first.
Bad trips are interesting because I thought I was never gonna have a bad trip, because I thought I
Interesting.
wasn't gonna have a bad trip because I felt like I understood it. I felt like I was elevated. I felt like I was conscious. Once again, that ego thing. That
Uh-huh.
ego thing in spirituality will kick your ass, and God will bring you right back to earth. But I was at that point where I was just like, man, I'm a shroomer. I'm a this. I meditate. I done did float tanks. I done did this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got this. Until that bad trip come, and it's gonna make you reevaluate life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But bad trips kind of happen in a couple different ways. A bad trip can come from a person that just is too anxious in their trip, or they wasn't prepped properly. So I can tell you like, hey, do these shrooms, you're gonna have a good time. But but I don't tell you about how you might dive into your childhood, how you might
Mhm.
dive into something that's bothering you subconsciously, how you
Mhm.
might be super sensitive to energy. So somebody next to you might be putting off a certain energy, and you feel it, and you like, man, what is this? Like, what is this? Like, I don't like, you feeling this person energy. And if
Mhm.
they got some dark, evil energy, now you feeling dark and evil, and you like, this ain't me. And then
Mhm.
you in the middle of the trip and it's going all crazy.
Right.
So if you're not prepped properly, you can definitely have a bad trip that ain't really gonna come out good, because you're just gonna be lost in the sauce. But you also can be a person that has experienced mushrooms and is of light, and you created an awesome environment. You fasted,
It
you in
does
a
not
right
matter.
energy, and then something crazy would come into your trip. And you like, who are you and what did this come from?
Mhm.
But my perspective of it is shrooms is always going to push you to learn and grow. And the
Mhm.
growth journey is not all bubble gums, lollipops, and butterflies.
Exactly.
Sometimes the universe, mushrooms, God is going to put you in a challenging situation, just like in real life. In every
Mhm.
growth situation, we have to get put through something and we have to conquer it. Then we grow and then we celebrate our wins. It
Right.
happens in the supernatural realm too. You
Mhm.
might get put in a real dark space. It might put you, actually, what I truly believe is mushrooms push your subconscious to your conscious in the
Definitely.
trip. So if you got some stuff going on back here,
Mhm.
it will be presented to you in the trip. And you and your trip on your wave having a good time. And now you thinking about that person at work that so much bothers you. It's
Mhm.
gonna bring it to the forefront because you cannot grow with these things hanging out in your subconscious. And
Right.
that'd be the hard part. So if you do shrooms for fun, like I just do it for fun. I mean, it's still fun. It's spiritual, it's fun, it's everything. Shrooms is a turn up and a spiritual turn up and relaxation. It's everything for me. So I used to have fun off the shrooms, and then something would just come in, and I'd be like, "Get out of here!" Like I was having a good time. Why am I thinking about my third grade teacher that called me a crazy name? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But in order for you to continue with this fun ride you thought you was gonna have, you're gonna have to conquer that in the trip. And some people don't want to fight in their trip.
And I think that's important that you mention that, because what people have to understand when you're dealing with mushrooms, it's not the same as smoking weed, or some people try to put it with alcohol and things like that. You have to understand that this is sacred medicine, and it may be fun, you may enjoy it, but don't ever do shrooms thinking you're going to escape something.
Oh no,
Do not
ain't
utilize
no escape.
shrooms as an escape. You need to consciously think, okay, I'm going to take this to be better, to deal with whatever. And you have to be completely open, because what you think you may want from that experience, the shrooms don't ask you what you want.
And the shrooms is tricky, y'all, because
Hmm.
you can have a good time, and you partying and doing whatever, or relaxation, or even me, I used to get very vivid visuals. So I used to look at the
Hmm.
world like art. So I'm like, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna get high off these shrooms, and I'm gonna just look at the world, right? And it'd be like 3, 4 times where I got that vibe, and then all of a sudden, darkness. And I'm like, wait, what is this dark experience
What's
that you
happening?
giving me right now? This is
Man,
not fun like how it
right.
was. So as much as you think that you gonna keep riding away and get away with, just having fun off the shrooms is keeping tab. Like, nope, we gonna get you. And when I say we gonna get you, it's like we gonna give you a learning experience. It's
Yes.
gonna come. You don't know when it's gonna come. It's gonna come when you least suspect it.
And you don't know how. Like, your mind is being unlocked. It's limitless on how the universe can connect with you to teach you. And it's just important for you to go into the experience knowing this is an experience. And I don't know what I'm going to experience, but I trust that I come out on the other side of it with understanding. Because that's when people are not taught these things, and they just buying mushrooms from wherever, from whoever's selling it. Because a lot of people selling mushrooms are not responsible. I'm happy to have people in my life that are, but it's a lot of people out here who are not responsible.
Hmm.
So they're not giving that energy onto this medicine. They're not giving these type of conversations to people that are buying it.
Right.
And it's a lot of people who have one experience and they like, I ain't messing with that stuff, because they looked at it as a negative and didn't even process, okay, what was I supposed to learn from that
Hmm.
or get from that? Because it can be what's the word I'm looking for? Ascending or traumatic,
Right.
depending on perspective. What
Perspective
else?
is everything. I think one of the best trips I ever had started off as a bad trip. And I think it was a prerequisite to the light. It's just like, once again,
Mm,
another test. It's like
yeah.
you're gonna be tested in the regular 3D realm, but you're gonna be tested in the 4 to 5D, in the supernatural realm, in the dream realm. You're
As
gonna get
above,
tested.
so below.
You're gonna get tested at every plane. So I got tested in my trip and I passed.
Mm.
Because I've had bad trips before that didn't take me. out, but this one was real creepy. And I was just basically, I'm just to tell a story.
Mhm.
Uh, it started off super good. I was in the backyard, and this is the first time I saw like the life in plants. So the
Mm.
first part of
Isn't
the
that
oh
beautiful?
man, it's crazy. The first part of the wave, like I'm in the backyard. I'm in like a greenhouse, and I'm looking out at like the plants, and I'm like, are y'all glowing? And I'm tripping hard too. And I'm like, man, I felt like I could see the molecules, the
Yep.
oxygen,
Yep.
the energy, and I could
Mhm.
literally
Sacred
and look,
geometry, all
and,
of that.
and my eyesight is crazy. So I took off my glasses and I saw better. And I'm like seeing all of
Wow.
these micro things. And it started off amazing. I'm like, man, the whole world is glowing. This is great. And then I
Mhm.
kind of took a like not a nap, but sometimes you just get so high off the shrooms, you just gotta sit back, close your eyes, and just go to a place, you know.
Mhm.
So when I sat back and closed my eyes, I went to a place that was dark as hell. And I'm like, where am I at? And why am
Yeah.
I here?
Mhm.
And what I took it as is that's what to me like my hell was. It
Mm.
felt disgusting. It smelt disgusting. Like
Mm.
it was all bad energy. And I'm like, why do shrooms take me to hell? Like what I do? You know what I'm saying? And I'm also I'm not awake enough in my trip to just be like, I'm good. Sometimes in a trip, you'll
You
literally
can
just like
come in and
pass
out.
out. Yeah, you be in
Yeah.
like in a mushroom coma. And I was
Mhm.
stuck there and I was scared as hell for like
Mhm.
for first 5-10 minutes. But then I had to realize like, all right, what I told myself in that moment was like, you are not of this energy. You are
Mhm.
experiencing this for some reason. I don't know, but I'm not gonna stay here forever. So let the world be the world and you are you. And I separated myself from that energy because it felt disgusting.
Yeah.
But when I first got there, I was in it. So I felt disgusting. It looked disgusting and smelled disgusting. So I felt those same things about me. But then I consciously in my trip separated myself and I said, this is a temporary thing and I am not my atmosphere.
Mm.
And about 10 to 15 minutes of that, then I blasted off into a whole new world. And it was the deepest trip I've ever
Wow.
had in my life. And that might have to say that for another podcast, but that was a deep one. I don't know
We
what our time
probably
is
do.
like, but we can
Yeah, we
definitely dig
probably yeah,
into
we
it.
running out of our time. I think I'm gonna bring you back just to talk about that.
Oh yeah, we can
We
do
need
that.
to dive deep into that because it's not even just mushrooms, and I think that that is a very good starting point and experience that a lot of people need to have to dive deeper into themselves in ways they wouldn't do normally,
Mhm.
and understand the supernatural in everything. Like you said, you saw the molecules, you saw the life implants. I've been able to see the cells in my hand.
Mhm.
You know, you see how the sky works, you see how God lives. And that's important because we are God. We are of its imagination. And it's you cannot see yourself until you can see God everywhere. And that's the journey. That's the journey while
Yes,
being
ma'am.
compassionate. So while we close this out, is there anything that you want to tell the people to assist their journey in being going from well-being to supernatural?
Well-being. And I know we were supposed to kind of touch on men's mental health a little bit, but I'm gonna direct this to the men. I got brothers that I talk to and I deal with, and we talk about obstacles in life and growth and all of that. And a lot of people look at me like towards like a mentor, and they look for help and support, and I just do that naturally. And I notice that a lot of times men we could be lost in the sauce if we don't know our mission. Like, what is your
Mm.
mission? Because I wake up and I know my mission, so everything I do is to contribute to that mission. So if you're just making money, you can make lot of money and feel empty. Or like if you like, relationships with women and you got a girlfriend or a wife and you super indulge in her and you love her, you love it on her, but you feel like it's something missing because you don't have a mission with your day-to-day activities. So figure out what your mission is. And when you know what your mission is, everything will fall into that. Like for me, uh, my mission was to help my family and help the helpers. You know what I mean? So actually, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. I know everything that's missing for me in my life, and I know the help that I need, and I know the love that I need, and I know the things that I expect from the world that I might not get all the time. So for me, and this is something I came up with just through life, I try to be the things that I'm missing. So I be the support. I'm the help. I'm the love. I'm that person that you can talk to when you trying to figure it out. I could be that financial assistance. That's the mission. And my mission is to do that for the people that are doing that for people. That's how I'm changing the world. How do you change the world? One person at a time. I can make an impact on her, and then she can go on the stage and impact hundreds of people. And those people in that crowd are impacting hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So to change the world is not hard. Just change the people around you. And not even a change. It could just be a sis, it could be a love, it could be a high five, a compliment. Like, you look real nice today. You don't know how far these things go. So I know for sure I want to impact the world by impacting people. So I support the supporters. I know my mission. My mission is to bring light to the world and make sure I cultivate as many resources as I can for my family and for my lineage. So I'm always with the money thing. You could be on a money chase and have all the bags. Cool. You making money and you up, but you still feel empty because that money is not being contributed to whatever your mission is. If you ain't got no mission, you just got hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting here and now you just fucking it off. Or now you going to the strip club, or now you creating unhealthy relationships with money because you don't know your mission. So fellas, get the mission. Figure out what your mission is, and your mission will evolve, because my mission evolved several times throughout my life. And just to rewind, give you a little history, my first mission was basically to just get rich with my friends. I grew up on Lil Wayne, Cash Money, No Limit, the Cliques, you know what I'm saying, the Saint Lunatics, you know what I'm saying, like all of like the groups. And it's like these guys like me from the hood that got rich and got out the hood, and now they live in a certain life. So when I'm 12, 13, 14, 15, I grew up in the hood. I want money. I want to ball out with my friends. I want to be cool. We want to have a nice car. So the Cash Money mission was my mission. That's where Top Notch came from. For me, I got
Yeah.
all the homies here. Let's just get rich and have fun. Like, that's what
That was
life
big
is.
energy.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that was my mission then, and my mission evolved. So I've always just been a mission-based person. So to answer your question, like I said, I'm gonna retarget it to men. Find out what your mission is, and know your mission will evolve, and put all the steps of your day-to-day accomplishments into that mission, and you really can't go wrong. You wake up feeling like revitalized every day because you know the mission is getting accomplished every
Mhm.
single day.
Well, you heard that, man. Thank you so much for taking the time out to shed your light,
Hmm.
give that message. That is a very important message, because I'm gonna tell you this, man. When you're operating with a mission and your mission touches the lives of other people, it's much easier for you to get a solid queen to have your back to assist you in that mission, because now she knows that everything she puts her energy into is doing this. It's not a blind kind of thing or a taker energy. So you find the balance that you're looking for in life by loving yourself, finding your mission, and walking in that. All right? So peace and love, everybody. If you want to keep up with upcoming events to help you with your well-being, the supernatural journey, and the new book is out now. So go ahead and visit wellbeing, the number two, supernatural.com. Peace and love to you all.